Hello everyone, welcome back to Mars Talk. Today I want to talk to you guys about the atmosphere of Mars and how I feel we as a species should look at improving it if we plan on terraforming Mars in any point in time moving forward. Now, why is Mars red? Well, it's red because it lacks an atmosphere to make it blue, like our planet, okay? And that is mostly because the atmosphere for the larger part has been stripped away. Now, Mars does have an atmosphere. It wasn't completely stripped off, but the majority of it has been stripped away by solar radiation from Mars's host star, our sun. The solar winds are actually shielded by the magnetosphere of our planet. The magnetosphere is actually a shield that could be added to any planet. And the definition of a magnetosphere, according to our Webster Dictionary, is the region surrounding an astronomical body in which its magnetic field is the predominant effective magnetic field. So that is to say that the planet itself generates its own magnetic field. It's no other cosmic magnetism that's actually shielding the planet. It's the planet itself. And how does that happen? Well, here on Earth and on around any astronomical body that has a liquid core, the liquid core generates a magnetosphere. That's just a phenomenon that happens. So the fact that Mars doesn't have one is attributed to the fact that Mars has a frozen core. Its core is not a liquid material. It's been cooled to a point where it is solid rock. Well, we all know what we can do with solid rock to actually make it liquid. We apply heat. How do you apply heat to a body of that size? You apply friction to it. So basically what I'm talking about is tectonic plates moving on Mars, and that is mostly done here on Earth due to the fact that we have a liquid core and we have a lot more solar radiation because we're closer to the sun, but also we have a very large moon that pulls on the planet. We see this actually in the outer solar system with Jupiter and its moons. Jupiter's moons are capable of being pulled on by Jupiter itself to the point where they have liquid cores. Now, we all know how far away those moons are in comparison to how far away Mars is. We all know that Mars is much closer to the sun than Jupiter is, and we all know that the moons of Mars are very, very tiny, but still very close to the sun in comparison to Jupiter's Mars. Now, Jupiter's moons. Jupiter's satellites have liquid cores, and that's because of the gravitational pull that Jupiter exerts onto those satellites. Well, we can just do the same thing anywhere in the solar system that we would like. By increasing the gravitational pull of the satellites around a planet, we inevitably increase the temperature of that planet's core. If we can increase the temperature of Mars's core, we can actually increase Mars's magnetosphere. And with the magnetosphere being increased, that magnetic pull that shields the planet from the solar wind, we can actually prevent the atmosphere of Mars from being stripped off the planet by the solar radiation. Okay, it's that simple. I really don't know why this is not talked about because to me this looks blindingly obvious. This is a huge problem. The fact that we are better equipped to live on a moon of Jupiter simply because it has a liquid core, but not Mars. Well, let's just add that attribute to Mars. By increasing the temperature of Mars's core, we can accomplish this. Well, we all know that Phobos and Deimos, the two satellites that actually revolve around Mars, are not the perfect moons for that planet. They really are not. If you look at all of the details, they're not on a really good orbit, which means they're not going to stay around that planet forever. One is, in fact, on a collision course with Mars, and one is actually escaping Mars's gravitational pull as we speak. So both of those satellites are worse off than our satellite around Earth. Our satellite around Earth is amazing. Its size is so huge that its gravitational pull can be seen on Earth with tidal waves. The tide itself is attributed to our satellite, our only satellite. If Mars had a satellite like Earth, Mars would still have a sufficient enough magnetosphere to prevent its atmosphere from being stripped off of it by solar radiation. So that's the next step, you guys. The next step is increasing the magnetosphere of this planet. Now, how do we accomplish that? Well, bigger moons for starters, put the satellites that are around Mars in such an orbit where they're actually stable and they won't be on a collision course or an exit course from the planet. They would be in a more stable course similar to our moon. Now, our moon's not perfect either. It's definitely going to be changing its rotation over millions of years, but it's way better in its current orbit than the moons of the satellites of Mars. So we need to fix this. We need to increase the gravitational pull that they exert on the planet itself. And by doing just that, we're going to be able to actually warm up that planet from the inside out, just with the tectonic plates being moved because of the gravitational forces exerted onto it by its satellites. It's that simple, you guys. We're all talking about how we should colonize Mars and create a habitat under glass domes and things of this nature. Guys, that's not fixing the problem. The problem is basically, inevitably speaking, if we do end up with glass domes surrounding Mars and habitats on Mars with this, we're still going to run into this issue where we would like to terraform the planet. And to terraform a planet, you need to make it more like your planet, or you need to become more like it. Basically, the people that are going to be living on Mars millions of years from now are going to be way different than Earthlings, and this is going to be a huge problem for those that would like to go back and forth between the two planets, so we might as well make them identical. And obviously, the way that life is here on Earth is much better for life than the way that it is currently on Mars. So we do need to do these things. Inevitably, I think it's the ethical thing to do to the planet. It is a dead planet. Look at this. This is a dead planet, okay? We can fix this. We can make this a blue planet just like Earth. All we need to do, most people are talking about this, they need to actually increase the atmosphere on Mars to actually live on it. So we need to actually prevent that atmosphere from being stripped away. And the simplest way to do that is to shield the planet from solar wind. Solar wind is stripped away from a planet because of its magnetosphere, you guys. So let's just add the magnetosphere to the planet. Lots of ways to propose to do this in the far future. So anything I can propose right now is really going to be dated by the time that this actually is an issue that our species would want to tackle. But I'm just throwing some ideas out there. You guys do what you want with them. We're just talking about Mars here. Increase the gravitational pull of the satellites around it, or somehow come up with artificial gravity and use that as a way to warm the core of the planet. This could also be done in the distant future after a colony has been added to Mars, but this is definitely something that Martian colonists would like to know is probably the best option in the long run for the planet, is to give it its magnetosphere back. It's just too far away from the sun to maintain this magnetosphere because the gravitational pull of the sun and the thermal radiation of the sun is much less in that part of space than it is in this part of space. Yes, it's still in a Goldilocks zone, but it doesn't have a magnetosphere to protect it from that Goldilocks zone, you guys. How do we do this? We warm the core. We warm the core of the planet and let it make its own magnetosphere. At that point, we're able to actually add its atmosphere back. The atmosphere needs to be put back. It's been stripped away. It's not on the planet anymore. It is in the cosmos. But the magnetosphere of that planet can always be returned if we just increase the temperature of the planet's core. And that's going to be it from Mars Talk. Thank you guys for watching this video to the end. Let me know what you think in the comments, and I look forward to reading them. I'll see you next time.